teams are here this morning.
Oh.
Forgot about that. Okay, we're live.
All right. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully we are alive. I don't know.
Yeah. If, well, guys, if you're listening to the show, if you're listening to the podcast,
The recorded version.
The recorded version, you would have already heard a warning saying, hey, for X amount of minutes, Josh's mic is going to sound funny. We spent about 10-15 minutes beforehand trying to make sure that didn't happen in this episode. Because it did it 2 episodes ago, and then last episode, I thought it didn't do it, and then it did it for just like 2 minutes instead of 4, so hopefully it's all taken care of. But
yes.
We're back.
We're back.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yep.
How's it going?
It's going. It's going good. It's going good.
It's going, man.
Yeah.
Just got done with a good workout. What'd you think of those Renegade rows?
They were tough. I mean, I've done them before, so I had an expectation. And I remember looking at that and thinking, 40, all right, well, that's going to be the bulk of the workout.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good. I'll be honest, I haven't done that many push-ups in a single workout in a long time, so we'll see. I mean, it was enough to, I think, elicit a good stimulus or a good dose response.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Are you going to do that one today?
No, I'm sore from the CFG Memorial Day workout that we did on Saturday, which was Saturday, May 29th. So I just hit my legs today. I was like, arms are sore from pull-ups, lats are sore from pull-ups, chest a little bit sore from the burpees. I did a lot of push-ups on Monday because I was one of those crazy people that did the CFG workout on Saturday. Totally rested Sunday, did Murph on Monday, but with toes to bar. I didn't do pull-ups. I did not overdo it on the pull-ups.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I did 100 toes to bar. So what you did a couple years ago for Murph,
I did.
Yeah, I was thinking about you when I did it, and I was like, I think Josh went way faster than how I went today.
I mean, I didn't do 100 pull-ups, though, or 105 pull-ups 2 days prior to that, so there's that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, I'm going to hit my legs. I did some sled work. I did some farmer's carries, because I like the carries that we had today.
Yep.
And then some machine work. So similar.
It was interesting. I was talking to a couple people after class, and one of the things that they expressed was that their forearms were like really smoked by the time they would get to the farmer's carry, and it was difficult to carry it around the building.
Today.
Yeah, today. I didn't feel that, but I have fairly good grip strength, grip endurance, and I was really thinking on the back half of the farmer carry that I would feel that when I got to the row, but I didn't.
Nice.
So it was just nice and steady on the row, and I was significantly slower the second 40 Renegade rows than the first 40.
How many did you get in the second round?
I did all 40.
Oh,
I did
nice.
the last one with like 4 seconds to go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so just in the nick of time. The first 40 took me 4 minutes. The second 40 took me like 5:15 or
Woo.
it was big. And I was thinking, I was like, all right, I'm doing it at a pretty decent clip. I think I averaged about, I mean, obviously 40 in 4 minutes, that's 10 a minute, but I was looking at the clock, the first one, and I was like, all right, 10 a minute, I think I can maintain this. And I ended the first round doing sets of 4.
Okay.
So coming off the row, I was like, okay, well, 4 might be a little bit too aggressive. So I was just doing doubles the whole time. I tried to throw in a couple sets of 3, that wasn't happening. I did 2 sets of 3, and then had to go back to doubles. And that, I mean, when you do smaller sets like that, you know this, you have to be really disciplined in your rest, or it can really just get away from you.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened. So the first 10, I was actually under a minute doing doubles. The second 10, I was probably a minute 20. And then it was like just bleeding into the buffer that I had, because I was thinking maybe I could get a little bit of the farmer carry done, but I just couldn't.
No,
Yeah. I think you would have to really move on both sets of the Renegade rows. And you could take it easy on the machine, whatever machine you chose. I was on the rower, but you could take it fairly easy on that and then just walk the farmer carry. And I think you could get 2 rounds, but you've just got to move 2 sets of 20. or just 4 sets of 10, just really, you know, boom, boom, boom.
With 5-pound dumbbells.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know that the weight up to a certain point makes a tremendous difference. I mean, it's just it's a taxing movement. I mean, you pretty much involve everything except, you know, squatting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, a little bit of everything thrown in there. Push and pull, a lot of midline stabilization,
Yeah.
like when you're doing that single arm row. So that's what I was going for. I like that movement. And I mentioned 2 weeks ago, and then I mentioned it in the class today, there's going to be some sort of midline involvement on this day of programming every week. So like, what's it, Wednesday today, Tuesday next week, Monday the next week. So it's nice to hear that it's what you felt on the...
Yeah, last week it was something, a plank and something else. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, now that you mentioned that, I do remember there being, what was it?
Dumbbell, hand clean, and jerk.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And then the plank, and then...
And then AMRAP calories in remaining time.
Yes.
But you start a new interval without rest every 3 minutes.
That's right, because I remember Justin Scott in particular flying through the hand clean and jerks.
That's a fit dude right there.
Yeah. Yeah, he was, let's be honest, he was just doing a curl and a shirt press.
Because he knew he was going on vacation. He's like, I gotta crush this one.
You gotta get pumped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So, yeah, that was the workout for today. Where we got one announcement. I guess Memorial Day recap. That was awesome. Our Memorial Day weekend workout was really fun. Our CFG workout. I PR'd that one by 5 seconds.
Really?
That's a second around. Think about it that way. That was, you did each round 1 second.
1
faster.
second faster.
Yeah. So I did it slower last year than I did the first year we did it.
Yeah.
And then this year I PR'd it, and I didn't think I did. Like I was heading out the door, and Coach Ed, he was coaching. He was actually looked at Wattify as I was going out the door. He was like, "You have to run this last half mile this fast to be able to PR." I was like, I don't think that's right, because I thought I knew my time.
Yeah,
Because,
you know, math in your head.
my heart rate was at 190, so I was correct. Compared to the guy that was coaching the class.
Right.
I was like, I don't think that's right. I still ran how I normally would have ran it. It was probably like 4.5 minutes. It wasn't very fast. And then I came in and I was like, is that really PR? And he was like, yeah, it was a 5-second PR. And I looked and I was like, that's pretty cool. Because I was at the beach Friday, I was dehydrated. I was like, man, I'm here to, you start a workout like that, and you're like, I'm doing it just to do it. Like, you don't go in, you go in like, oh, I'm going to PR it, and you're in like the second round, you're like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm just here to survive.
Yeah. And then, so I was stoked about that. We missed you guys. We were missing a couple of coaches. You, Steph, Mark, James were all out of town.
Yeah. Yeah, my niece was graduating in Georgia, so we went up there Friday. So I spent, while you guys were down here enjoying the fruits of the Memorial Day workout, I was in the car for 10 hours, so.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd rather be getting some fitness on. But, we had a really great time. It was cool to see her graduate, and we got to hang out with, her family and just chill, so it was good.
What day did you guys drive back?
We drove back late Saturday.
Oh, okay, so you're home Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or Sunday,
Monday, yeah. Sunday was basically, to the outside world, we did not exist, because I don't even think we walked outside one time.
You told me, yeah.
We just sat in bed and watched shows and movies all day. The kids, hung out. We got takeout delivered to the house. I think I just opened the door and grabbed it and shut the door.
Threw the money in.
Yeah, there you go.
Pay with the car so you don't even have
Yeah, it's like the scene in Home Alone when the pizza man delivers it. He opens the little mail thing and shoves the money out.
You filthy animal.
And then, what did we do? Oh, Mom and Dad came over yesterday. We hung out, got in the pool. And, it was a good time. Good time.
Does the day off, meaning, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like a lot of people take this weekend, does that throw your rhythm off? Like, do you feel like today, I feel like today's Tuesday.
Yeah, yesterday definitely did. I don't know what. I had a really kind of packed day in terms of just stuff that I had to get done, and which usually feels like a Monday, if Mondays have a feeling. But so yeah, it's been a little bit weird, but like today, I'm kind of back to my normal, routine.
Cool.
So, yeah. Other than being up late on Friday, I was up later than I've ever probably been in, 5 years on Friday with everybody. But other than that, I mean, our routine is still get up early. Still do my morning routine never changes. Even waking up in a hotel room on Saturday, I mean, that's all the same.
How late was that? 10:30.
No, we were out till 10:30. No, we were out till I think by the time we got back to the hotel it was like 2 in the morning.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesse stayed over at their house. I'm trying to think of the name of my sister and brother-in-law's house, and they were up till 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the latest Jesse stayed up at, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, yes. Yeah, and he's so proud. And I remember being his age, thinking, I'm so cool. Stayed up, almost saw the sun come up, and then you're just miserable the next day.
That was the thing, like in middle school, I remember, is we would do, you'd have a sleepover with your friends, a slumber party, and then so you'd have people over, you'd go over to your friend's house, and for us, we would just stay up and we'd play video games or do whatever.
Yeah, that's all they did.
And, you're like, okay, let's pull an all-nighter. And like, you never make it. You make it to like maybe 5, 6 in the morning when the sun starts to come up and you see everybody's like this. But the 1 or 2 times you do it is, you're like, why did I do this? Because the next day, it's awful. You're like,
Right.
I've been up for 40 hours straight. I need to sleep. This was stupid. Why did I do this?
So Tina, if she's listening, she may remember these days. So the skating rink around here, they still do it. They would have all-night skates, and they would do it at like specific times during the year. So they would do a back to school, like the weekend before school would start. They would do it. So it would be doors open at 7 p.m. and you go until 7 a.m. the next day. So it's like 12 hours, and they do like pizza at midnight, and they do donuts at like 3 or 4 in the morning. They get donuts, everything brought in, and yeah, I mean, if you think about it now, it's like this massive car crash that everybody hits. And I remember going to those, and there's a couple funny stories around this, but number one, I remember going to those. Me and my best friend John would always go and hang out. And I mean, I would love to skate, so I'd be there for 12 hours skating, and mom or dad would pick us up the next morning and go home, and I would sleep until 6, 7, 8 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
Wake up, have dinner, and go back to bed. So you literally wipe out an entire day of your life just because you are an absolute zombie. But the other funny part is, when you're that age and your parents are dropping you off and they're like, okay, well, you're at this venue supposedly for 12 hours, like, are you really staying there? Because a lot of kids are like, oh yeah, let me go to the skating rink, and then they sneak out and go party or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I live to do this. I have no desire to go anywhere else, never left, never walked outside. It was like, I remember multiple times being the only loser on the skating rink at like 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning because that's just what I did. Yeah.
It's funny because what I did, and you know this, I don't know if many people that listen to the show know this about me, but I used to be too big into video games, and I would play, I think a lot of people, I've probably talked about this on the show before, I used to play World of Warcraft, and instead of skating all night, I would wake up at 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon, play games until 6 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, and then sleep again. Like that, I was that guy in middle school, maybe like early high school. And then actually, it's funny, I got into fitness. I got into working out, and that kind of kickstarted.
That ended that?
Yeah, it ended that, and I just think about it now. I remember like sitting there once and being like, looking at myself for probably the first time in like 3 days. And I was like...
The sunlight creeps in through your blinds that have been drawn for 3 days.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I haven't even showered in 3 days. I was like, I haven't even walked from... So our garage is attached to the house, but you have to walk across the patio to get to the garage. I have not even been to the garage. I have not seen natural sunlight or showered or changed my clothes in 3 days. And that was like a wake-up call for me. I was like, that's bad. I was like, that's bad.
Does Pam hang that on the fridge as like a proud mom moment of like, 3rd day, Mark's not in the scene?
I don't even know if she knows that's
funny.
how it was. I mean, that was bad. So that's kind of, that's Memorial Day. That's our event recap. Upcoming event, we have our StrongFit Clinic with Coach Ed. That is Saturday, June 26th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. our normal clinic time. Personally, I've been putting some extra sled work in. I've been pushing the sled a little more because I think it's fun. I've been doing it in place of like any sort of like hinging or like squatting movement because of an injury I'm dealing with. So I know this Sandbags and Sleds clinic is going to be awesome. And if you guys were here, there was one Saturday that Ed coached a few weeks ago. He actually broke the sled out, and he has like 100-foot long, brand new, slick, like black drag rope, or like I guess you could call it a battle rope. It's not. You could probably use it for that, but it's like 100 feet long, and he was doing some sled work for his workout with that. I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. So if any of that stuff that's a little, I guess you could say it's out of the ordinary from what we normally do, the sandbags and sleds. If any of that sounds like fun to you, this is going to be a blast. And I know Ed's really passionate about this stuff, and not only passionate, but he's knowledgeable.
Yeah, he really is.
He like does his research and he knows about this stuff, and so I know it's going to be a really, really good time.
Strongman stuff is so fun to just play around with. It's probably, to me, the most, ironically, given all that we do in here day to day, like in the gym, it's probably the thing that translates most to daily life.
Yes.
Nothing that you pick up is similar to a barbell or even dumbbells for that matter, but picking up a sandbag, very similar to picking up a bag of mulch, very similar to picking up, kids whose arms and legs and limbs are going all over the place. So, and then just pushing heavy things, pulling heavy things. I mean, there's just so much. We talk about functional movement, but real world functionality to those things that I don't know if this is just my personal bias. When I did a strongman clinic this was probably 12 years ago that I did one, but it just seemed very natural and primal to do those particular movements.
Yeah.
So I've always been very fascinated by them.
Yeah, that stuff's awesome.
Cool.
All right.
So got a couple of good questions today.
Yeah, let's do it, man. You want to start or you want me to start?
Well, since you are the sore one, I'll ask a question and see what you have to answer for yourself.
Okay.
So, people did all kinds of, Memorial Day workouts, whether it was the CFG Memorial workout, Murph, something like that, some big, tough, workout. So the question is, what is the best thing I should focus on to recover from a tough Memorial Day workout? So you did two. You did one on Saturday and one on Monday.
Yes.
So
I'll share what I did. I don't know. It probably wasn't the best. Sunday, I guess you could say it was active recovery. I go bowling on Sundays. I think a lot of you guys know that. So I went bowling. And so, it was active. You're holding a 15-pound ball. You're constantly throwing that. Probably, honestly, it wasn't good for my bicep to get all of that repetition in again.
Hold on, real quick. We know you don't throw a 15-pound ball. It's like it's 9-pound.
It's 9, but you're throwing that, up to 100 times or even more. So I guess, there's an argument for and against that. Anyway, my dad and I bowled too fast. I was actually saying to him, can we sit down in between games? Just take just 2 to 3 minutes.
Man.
Just rest.
Yeah.
Because what happens is I go too fast and I get too amped and I don't bowl well, and then I get frustrated and then I don't want to bowl anymore. So I'm like, can we take 2 minutes? 2 minutes. And he's go on.
He's ready to rock. He's just checking boxes, man.
Yeah, dude. He's the bowler. But so you're moving. You're nothing like a Memorial Day workout, but you're sweating. So I did that. I guess you could say that's active recovery. That's all I did. I should have stretched. I should have done something. So I guess what should you focus on? Some sort of move, actual, maybe dedicated movement towards whatever effects you're feeling from your Memorial Day workout. Could be beneficial. Monday did Murph. Did not do pull-ups again because I didn't want to do 205 because 105 was enough. I am still sore and it's 4 or 5 days later now. But Tuesday, my workout was literally, I got on my stationary bike at home. I have a road bike and I got on that for 30 minutes and then I went on a 2-mile walk. All in all, it was about 65 minutes worth of movement and I feel awesome today. I've also been hammering water, at least a gallon every single day, since last Thursday actually, because I wanted to be hydrated for our CFG Memorial Day one.
Yep.
So water, any sort of like active recovery is what I did, and sleep if you can. Sleep's been pretty good, but I guess that's really what I focused on.
You're still wearing your Whoop. What did your Whoop say on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday?
So it wasn't as bad as I thought. Sunday, I was 43% recovered. Keep in mind Saturday, and I'll keep this PG. Friday, I was at the beach.
So a lot of sunshine.
A lot of
Not a
sunshine.
bad thing, but you don't want too much because of dehydration. But go ahead, because I know where this is going.
Yeah.
So maybe this would be the what not to do to recover from a tough Memorial Day workout.
Yes. So Friday, I was in the sunshine. I was having adult beverages. I was just not preparing well. Not necessarily not recovering well, not preparing well. I was 2% recovery going into Saturday. I woke up and saw that. I'm like, look at this compared to the strain. You should see the graph.
You're gonna get I bet you got a ping notification you just swiped up. Like you should not be doing anything.
Yeah. But then Saturday, it said my average heart rate was 142. Max heart rate actually got to 176, which for running for me is actually pretty low.
Yeah,
normally
that is pretty low.
Pretty high.
Yep.
Sunday I was 50% recovered, which was way more than I was expecting. Let's see. Whoops. Nope, I take that back. Sunday I was 43% recovered, still more than I was expecting. Monday was actually 69% recovery, which they call like in the green.
Right.
Which I was happy with too. Yesterday, 66% recovered. Today, 65.
Okay.
So really, pretty average recovery.
Right.
But like I've been focusing on that.
Right.
Like that's been priority. My workout today was even a little. Not scaled back, but I kept in mind, okay, I'm sore. I'm still recovering from, 2 days ago, let alone 4 days ago, let alone 2 days ago.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of what I focused on. To answer the question, what is the best thing? I mean, I would say keeping up with some sort of movement. I think the worst thing you could probably do is staying tight and not doing anything because I'm not moving because I'm so sore, but going on a walk, bike ride, hydrating, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
What would you say?
I would definitely agree with all those things. So the best thing that you can do, especially if we're just making the general assumption that you're way more sore than you are used to or way more sore than you expected, just good blood flow, good movement from head to toe is just a really good general prescription. So something what we would call cyclical. So get on your bicycle, your stationary bike, your rower, skier if you have one, or just go walk. Everybody has the ability to go do that. So you just want to get some, slightly increased respiration, breathing, just to kind of get the blood pumping and, get reoxygenated blood put to all the tissues and muscles in your body, stuff like that. So that's definitely probably the most underutilized. I think most people can fall into the, I work myself over, it's Memorial Day weekend, so I'm just going to relax and not move, and maybe even not move as much as they normally would. So I would say make sure that you make a conscious effort to move more than you normally would on any given day. So that's priority one. Priority kind of 2A and 2B is really set yourself up for some extra good quality sleep. So if you normally get 6 hours, try for 7. If you normally get 7, try for 8. I would turn the temperature down in your room maybe another couple of degrees for those first few days after, and then go back to whatever your normal temperature is. Unless you like the improved sleep that you get from a decreased temperature in your bedroom, then maybe you keep it. And then like 2B would kind of be water. So let's say that you normally drink half your body weight in ounces per day. So for a 200-pound person who drink 100 ounces, I might add, and again, these are really arbitrary generalizations, but I might add 10% to that. So instead of 100 ounces, maybe you're drinking 110, and then throw some, some good salt, like pink Himalayan salt, like a pinch of that in there with it.
Yeah.
So just to kind of add to the electrolytes. And I know most people get enough of this on these holiday weekends, being outside, vitamin D, but just make sure that you're not overdoing it. It's certainly a positive and helpful to get sunshine, because sunshine does truly aid in the recovery process, but it's also very easy to overdo it, especially if you're never in the sun. So to your story earlier about not seeing the sunshine for 3 days, like I wouldn't say, oh, you need to go out and get an hour of sun.
Yeah.
But just be aware, if you normally get 30 minutes, maybe you're out there for 35. It doesn't have to be anything excessive. So, but you can, like with anything, you can go overboard with that. So move, get good blood flow, hour a day, I would say at minimum, or just slightly more than your normal amount. So if you get 4 minutes, get 5. Second would be 2A, 2B, sleep. Get a little bit more good sleep, quality sleep, and then make sure that you're hydrating. And then of course, I don't know that this needs to be said on a holiday weekend. People are going to eat, and that's not a bad thing. So getting good calories in to just replenish everything really helps the recovery process too.
One of those days, I forget which one, but I think I had something like 3,000 calories burned, and that's just from, one workout on whatever day it was, plus being in the sun, like being in ocean water, because that's not necessarily relaxing, right? Because your body's fighting, waves in the current and stuff like that. Being on a boat, like that's 3,000 calories burned just being alive, right? So of course, very, very, I wouldn't say very, very tough workout, but longer duration workout, high calorie burn, that kind of thing. On top of everything else, your body's going to need those calories, so it's good that you bring that up.
The other thing I would say, and this is just me being a nitpicky coach, but I like to think long term. So the best way to be recovered from a workout like that is to prepare really well for it. So if you know that every Memorial Day you're going to do the CFG one, the Murph, the whatever it is that you decide to do for whatever reason you decide to do it, work backwards with your coach from that right now.
Yeah.
So if 50 pull-ups is the most you've ever done in a given workout, and then you just went and did double that 100, and you feel like you can't lift your arms up 2 degrees from your side, that's a problem. And you're probably going to be dealing with some long-term, soreness for a while. But the best thing that you can do is start preparing for that right now. And then when you do it next year, it'll probably feel like any other workout, because if you do prepare for it well enough, and I know this is going to sound weird or crazy, but the best thing that you could do is like do a Murph the weekend before, because if you're able to do it the next week, that means you were actually able to express it, recover from it, and then do it again.
That's a good point.
So start prepping for it now, and then by the time next year rolls around, it's going to be like, oh yeah, it's Memorial Day, I'm going to do 100 pull-ups, 200 whatever it is, and that's it. And you wake up the next day, and because you were prepared, you don't actually have to do any specific recovery workout. You wake up and go on about your day.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think about like even in the like say people have been doing a lot of pull-ups, right? A lot of push-ups, everything that you would typically prepare yourself for when it comes to a CFG Memorial Day workout. A lot of burpees, a lot of running, or a Murph, push-ups, pull-ups, things like that. To kind of up the ante a little bit, or the people that are like, should I do it with a vest? And you're 2, 3, 4 weeks out, and it's like, have you been vest training the last 6, 8, 10, 12 months? Like 6 to 12 months? No. Again, if that's something you want to do, I kind of have guidelines for the workouts that I like to adhere to. I want to reach a certain point before I do, before I up the difficulty. But again, if that's something you want to do, one, talk to your coach. Two, you gotta get on it now. You can't just start vest training
Yeah.
With a
Here's
20
a great
vest.
guideline for you if you don't want to say it. If you can't do an unpartitioned Murph under 40 minutes without a vest, you're not ready for a vest.
Yeah, so something I've always said ever since, I think I've done 7 Murphs now, and I was like, okay, I always did the 5, 10, 15, like the Cindy route, and I was like, okay, I will do it unpartitioned when I can do it. I forget if I said 40 or 45,
Right.
or somewhere around there. Like if I can do it under 40, we'll just say 40, then I'll move on. Okay, I did it in 39 minutes, and now I've been doing unpartitioned 100, 200, 300 for the last couple of years. When I can get that in like the 40, 45 minute range, I'll add a 10-pound vest.
Right.
It's not even going to be a 20. Like I'll add a really light vest, and then when I can get that, so like you're looking at anywhere from 15, 20, 25 Murphs.
Right.
So 15, 20, because I do it once a year, 15, 20, 25 years worth
Right.
of training to get to a vest. But if you tell somebody like, hey, you can do it with a 20-pound vest unpartitioned in 20 years. Like, what?
Yeah,
That's the
wait,
plan.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
No, that's the plan. While we're kind of on the topic, because this is a question I've gotten from people, I figure it'd be a good listening question now that we bring it up, is what do you think, having done both multiple times, what do you think is the more difficult workout between the CFG Memorial Day workout and Murph?
I don't think one is harder than the other. I think it really comes down to the weather. And I mean, I think we talked about this in the last podcast 2 weeks ago. I remember a couple of years ago we did the CFG workout, the Memorial Day workout here, and I remember leaving to go out on my third run, and I just kneeled down, basically sat down on one of the curb stops out there for like 30, 40 seconds, and I was like, I think this is it for me. Like I mean, it was like 900 degrees out, 100% humidity. Certainly wasn't prepared, to do this level of volume, and then you add the elements and the environment on top of that. I think that the environment really has a huge part to play in what workout for me is harder than the other, because it's not the pull-ups. The push-ups are hard in Murph, but then 105 burpees is not easy by any stretch either.
Right.
And then I don't know. I don't think, again, one workout is harder, because I can think of Murphs that we've done too where the weather was brutal, there's 40 people in here every round, and so it really increases the temperature in the physical space. So I think environment really has a huge one to play, personally. That's the way that I feel.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that's a really good point. I think each one has their own quirks that make them difficult in their own respective way. So like the CFG workout is, I was actually just telling a Johnny out there, because he was asking what it was. He couldn't make it and he was working, but he didn't know what the workout was. And I told him the workout is 5 rounds, 21 burpees, 21 pull-ups, 21 lunges, and an 800-meter run. And the run is just long enough to where by the time you pretty much get used to running, like you're back and you're doing burpees, which don't do your heart rate any favor.
Right.
And then pull-ups are going to keep it high. The lunges actually are going to keep it high, because bigger muscle groups, right? You're just kind of, it doesn't really give you a chance to break. And then before you know it, you're out running again. So I would say, like, despite it being probably the shorter workout between the two, between itself and Murph, your heart rate is higher across the workout. Versus in Murph, I think it's, and again, it depends on what route you take. We'll just say if you do it unpartitioned, 100, 200, 300, it's a lot more dependent on muscle endurance.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Like you're after in between the miles, you're not really breathing heavy.
Yeah, heart rate is much lower, relatively speaking.
Yeah. And if you're someone like me, long arms and a little chest, I like to say, and push-ups are really hard. Like I did 5 every 30 seconds for 20 minutes. And so you do 5 push-ups and then you're resting, because I know that my muscle endurance could actually handle that this year, which is good. It couldn't do that last year. Like that's just what I have to do. So your heart rate never really gets high. So I think weather plays a huge part. That's a great point. I think they're both difficult in their own respective way, but if I had to actually choose one that was more difficult, I'm probably gonna have to go with the heart rate one, just because like I think it's a lot harder to perform and do work with
Right.
a really elevated heart rate rather than just being like, well, I can't do another push-up. Like there's nothing I can change but rest.
Yeah.
You know? So I'd say maybe the CFG one, maybe ours is harder, but I mean it's not like it's harder. Like oh man, it's so
Right.
much.
Right.
You know, it's just like okay, like that one is just. I think that difficulty is harder than the muscle endurance difficulty for me.
Right, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if that's the bigger challenge for you, for sure.
So as always, we answered with it depends.
It depends. Yeah. Typical. Okay.
All right, so let's look at this next question. So this next one's pretty cool. This is something we were just talking about in the 9 a.m. class. It's something that I've talked about with a few people in the last, I'd say the last year, maybe the last like 8 months. And this has to do with the 75 hard challenge that I think a couple of you guys might have heard about, a couple of you listeners out there. So this 75 hard challenge is, it's a challenge where it's 75 days long and it gives you these hard standards that you have to meet. So these hard standards are, do you have them up?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and read them.
So yeah, first I think it's important we define like what it is. So it's a, like you said, it's for 75 days. You're tasked with doing these. I think it's 6. You have these 6 rules that you have to abide by every day. So the first one is follow a diet. And that's pretty loose, but I like that they kind of give you the freedom and flexibility. I would pick the cookie diet personally, but that's just me. So number 1 is you have to follow a diet. Number 2, you have to do 2 45-minute workouts every day. Number 3, no alcohol or cheat meals. Number 4, take a progress picture. Number 5, drink a gallon of water. Number 6, 10 pages of reading. And I think I've seen it where it's like some sort of non-fiction, self-help type book.
Yeah.
Positivity, things like that. So yeah, it's those 6 things that you have to do every single day for 75 days. And if you don't do one of them, you start back over all the way back to day 1.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to somebody in the gym this morning. Adrian's doing it, and I was telling her, just she was asking, you know, my thoughts on some things, and I was telling her a funny story. I had a buddy of mine last year that was doing it, and 2 different times he got into like the 50-day range, and just his day got away from him, and he didn't get the second workout in, or he didn't get his reading in, or it was just something that he is normally really, really just dialed in on. It wasn't like, you know, I forgot to, you know, or I just all of a sudden went on a bender and had a bunch of alcohol. It was just something that was like, oh, okay, but he started over, and he has since made it through. But yeah, 2 different times.
Wow.
He was like in the 2/3 done, and just his day got away from him.
Dang.
Yeah.
But
so that's what it is.
You said he finished it though.
He has, yeah.
That's good.
He's done it.
So the question is, so that's the definition of the 75 hard challenge. The question for us is, what do we think about it? Josh, what do you think of the 75 hard challenge?
Well, I think first it's important for me to be super upfront and say that I've never done it, so I can't speak from experience with this specific challenge. I have done many challenges in the past. We've run challenges in the past, so I can speak to I can bookmark it with, I can speak to challenges, and then I can speak to some of the specifics of my thoughts on this. So with this, I do like the things that they lay out for you. So, you know, the assumption when they say follow a diet is that you're going to do something that is healthier than what you were doing before.
Yeah.
They don't specify exactly what that should be, and I like that because it can be very freeing for people that, oh, I don't have to eliminate this, or I've read this about that. Like, it really puts the responsibility on the individual to choose what you're going to do. Caveat, as a professional, I do wish that there were some maybe more hard and fast rules around that, but I get where they're coming from, to leave the freedom and flexibility for the person to choose it. The only thing I'm not clear on is, like, let's just say that you choose, I was joking and said the cookie diet. is you have to follow that one all 75 days, or is it like, I tried this one for the first week and I'm going to jump to a different diet for the second week or something like that? So I'm not super clear on that, but I do like they have that. The 45-minute workout piece, of course, I'm a big proponent of that, and I think you may have interjected this, or maybe it was off the podcast, but one of them has to be outside,
Yep.
which I think is good. So hopefully people are getting some vitamin D. And I don't know, again, if this is from, the 75 hard people, if there is the people that this is official with, but I don't know if they specify what is a workout or not, but I'll just share a story from a friend of mine who did it. He said he was struggling to do these 45-minute workouts, and so we were talking about his day, and I was like, well, do you mow your lawn? And he's like, yeah, but that doesn't count. And I'm like, well, sure it does. Like, why would that not count?
Yeah.
It doesn't specify exactly what you should have to be doing. And so I think that I would like a little bit more clarity around that, but it's good. No alcohol, cheat meals. I think that's a great thing. Progress picture, I really like that. Personally, I think for a lot of people, this is probably the hardest part, because I know how intimidating it can be to take a progress picture of yourself every single day.
Yeah.
Which I know is ironic given the age of selfies that we live in, but still. A gallon of water, that just... Let's see. Was your friend you have to ask? I don't know. Okay. Oh, maybe I was just reading Tina's comment. She said if you have to ask, it doesn't count. So if I have to ask if Murph counts, does that mean it doesn't count?
What, the Murph diet?
Yeah. No, the Murph workout.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Gallon of water, I personally, I think that's fairly easy. But I know for a lot of people that's a challenge. But again, this is I've got my perspective, my bias. Then 10 pages of reading I think is a great one. So for the actual nitty gritty of it, I really like it. What I'm not sure about, and this isn't picking on the 75 hard. This is just with challenges in general. I'm not a fan of challenges in general. Period. Caveat. If there is no support or resourcing or anything on the back end. Because what I've seen happen, and I'm not, again, speaking specifically to this one, but we've run challenges in here. I've worked with hundreds of gyms who have run challenges, and so I've gotten to experience thousands and thousands of clients who have gone through challenges, and typically what we see is, like this case, it was great, day 1 through 75. Day 76, I'm not reading, water is done, I'm drinking alcohol, I'm not working out, and I'm eating whatever I want. So, to me, that you just wasted 75 days.
Yeah.
That's just my perspective. And I'm really interested in, if you choose to do something like this, which is not easy, and I think anybody that makes 75 days should give themselves a big pat on the back. But I would want to know, what's the deepest intention? Are you doing it just because it's a challenge? Cool. Then just do it for the challenge. But I would want to know, on the back end, what's the learning? What's the long term? Is this sustainable? Is this a lifestyle that you could see yourself adopting, whether it's this challenge or any other challenge? That is just my experience and exposure to challenges, and I'm not just speaking locally, but globally when I've worked with individuals in gyms, things like that, is what is the resources and support for long-term after the challenge?
Yeah. That pretty much hits the nail on the head for what I was going to say. I like the challenge. I think that all of the... And now, this is just assuming, again, we'll have to ask the actual 75 hard people, but I'm assuming what they're trying to do is make all of these obviously very healthy things. There isn't anything about that that's necessarily unhealthy. They're trying to make them habits, right? I would assume coming up with something like this is you're trying to make this something that's sustainable. In reality, that's just my question, is how much of it is sustainable? But to combat that, I would say that if you do the 75 hard challenge and, like you said, you go back to doing the complete opposite of those 6 or 7 things you listed, then what was the point of the 75 days aside from saying you completed the challenge? But if you're coming out of there with 1, 2, 3, hey, maybe even all 6 takeaways, then I think it served you well, right?
Yes,
so if
I totally agree with that.
If you come out of this challenge and maybe the only thing that you're still doing is maybe you go back to having, a drink or 2 on the weekends, right? An alcoholic drink, that is. Or, but you have now found a love for drinking a gallon of water a day, okay, that's awesome, right? You've found a way for this to serve you every day, because that gallon of water, as we know, will aid you tremendously in your life, in terms of health and wellness. If you're coming out of there, if you're reading 10 pages a day now, you found, kind of like what happened when you and I talked when you got me back into reading in October, right? I mean, it was. And now it's something I do, not every night, right? If I'm a little tired or had a busy day, but I would say at least 6 nights a week, right? So if it's something you're doing consistently, then I think that the challenge served you well. So my mom actually did it. She did the 75 hard challenge, I think, last fall or something like that.
Yep.
And it was first try, she just did it, put her head down and did it. But I did see that it was getting to the point where it would be 8 or 9 or 9:30 at night, even 10 o'clock at night, and she would be like, oh my gosh, my day got away from me, I gotta go get this 45-minute walk in, I gotta go walking. And I would argue, yes, to complete the challenge, that's cool, it's cool to see that drive, but I would argue, that walk wouldn't be necessary. That second workout wouldn't be necessary for the average individual, right?
Yeah.
Somebody just kind of doing life absent of the challenge. So I could see how by day 50, 60, 70, 74, meeting this criteria could feel more like a chore. And it shouldn't. It should. I think it's, like you said, it's cool because, if you say you want to do it because you want to do the challenge, that's cool. I'm a fan of sustainability.
Right.
So if you can take something away from the challenge, awesome. I'm a fan of it. And plus, I don't think it's anything crazy. This could be extremely extreme for a lot of people out there, and it probably is. That's why it's a 75 hard challenge. I don't think there's anything in there. I say this now again, I haven't done the challenge either, and I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't think there's anything in there there's nothing in there that scares me. Right?
Yeah.
It's nothing I'm oh man, I don't know if I can do that. Right. But I could see how it could be intimidating to some people. Forget where I was really going with that. But I think any sort of takeaway, it's going to be beneficial for you to not necessarily do the challenge and endorsing it, but
I think that I totally agree. I'm a big fan of people going through this and it giving them an opportunity to discover that they do have ability to establish good habits and they can do it. So even if they're trying to do these 6 or 7 things and they get done on day 76, they've kept one. I think that's a huge positive.
Yeah.
My advice to anybody that is going to do any challenge whatsoever would just be to take some time to really sit back and reflect on, before you start, why, and then what do you want out of it, so that it's not just, oh, my friends are doing it, or I saw it looks hard and I want to do hard things because that makes me resilient or something like that. Is just sit down and think about, what is my intention behind doing this? And the reason why that is because when you have a really solid, deep anchor put down, it's going to make this not only doable, but to your point, probably enjoyable as well. Because you've got this connection of what you're actually working towards,
Yeah.
I was just reading some of the comments. Tina said, exactly what we were just talking about, the mental challenge. Physical changes are a bonus. Yeah. One of the workouts has to be outside, so if it's snowing, raining, etc., you're outside. Absolutely. So thankfully we're in Florida, so it won't snow, but it's probably going to rain. So, all right, here's Here's a question. If it's raining outside, and I know she's going to say if you have to ask, it doesn't count. But I'm going to turn the tables, just like you guys do in class, and you ask these questions. If it's raining outside, but I'm in my garage, or there's an overhang above me, and I'm not getting rained on, but I am outside.
Yeah.
Does that count? Or do I need to subject myself to the potential of lightning? How about that?
I would say if it's raining outside and you're in your garage, again, I'm not a 75-hard spokesperson, but I am a coach, right? So I would say if it's raining outside and you've taken the 45 minutes to go in your garage and hit a stationary bike or a rower or do burpees or something, it counts, right? Why not?
So, case in point though, I have done plenty of workouts outside, and one of the ones I will never forget this at this gym that I worked out at in Sarasota doing Kelly, the run and the box jumps outside.
Yeah.
While it was torrentially raining, coming inside and getting smacked in the face with a wall ball.
Oh, man.
No less than 100 times. But yeah, so I've done it. I let Mark James chimed in. Shovel snow, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing in the wintertime? Yes. Get out there and do it. I've actually got a lot of my Canadian friends that I work with that did 75 hard last year too. So that was pretty neat to see. You know, they're out there chopping wood. That's their, second workout. And, here we are sitting down in Florida. It's 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's beautiful.
Having people mow our lawns for us, right?
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess the consensus is we like the challenge. I bet you guys weren't expecting that answer. Normally we drop bombs. Boom! Stupid challenge! No, it's we like the challenge as long as there's something that you can take away from it, and there's something sustainable that you can do to make yourself better on day 76 and onwards. I know they have like 100 hard, and I think I've seen like 150 hard, and I mean, why not just up the number? Like I've heard of like 365 hard, which would just be like, could you imagine 365 days?
I want to propose one here. How about 30-year sustainability?
Whoa, 30-year moderate. 30-year consistency.
There you go.
Challenge.
Yeah. Get good sleep.
I gotta restart it.
Get some vitamin D. but that's it, right? Like every day, drink some water, have some good food, have some good conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Hang around your loved ones.
That's the challenge.
Move every day.
The challenge is mentally subscribing to the fact that every day is day one and you're never going to complete the 30-year challenge.
That's deep. That's meta right there.
That's philosophical.
I have the book. If anyone, there's a book. Oh, cool. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, if you would bring it in, I'd love to thumb through it.
Yeah.
If you want to just put it on the little the coffee table book. Maybe Tina has a coffee table book about coffee tables. And if you don't have a coffee table, the book turns into a coffee table.
Whoa.
You know what that's from?
Psycho.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Anything else?
That's all I had. Seems good.
Let's see. Any more questions? No, just the book. I didn't even see where did Mark James come from. I didn't see his comment.
It was in between Tina's last two comments.
Oh, okay. Maybe take a look for me. You guys said. Cool. Well, we didn't check. I mean, we did a bunch of checking beforehand. I really hope your mic turned out okay.
Oh, please.
Or else we'll just have to post this audio.
Yeah, rip the audio from here.
Yeah. But thank you everybody for listening on the live feed, listening to this recording. We're every other week now, right?
Every other week, yes.
Okay.
2 weeks.
So in 2 weeks.
2 weeks we'll be back.
We'll be back better than ever.
So post your questions.
Yeah, give us your 2 weeks to give them.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks guys. As always, leave a 5-star written review on iTunes. If you listen on SoundCloud, head over to iTunes and do that, or ask your friends that don't listen to the show to want to listen to the show. Head to their iTunes account, leave a 5-star written review. We will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode, and Josh is going to take it away with an outro. Bye-bye.